All praise to Yahweh. Shalom, Yashar. How y'all been? We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get into this second degree temple, and the second degree of this temple, man. We try to make this simple and easy, while still getting the understanding. All right. We're gonna be examining the holy place and the place of learning, and we're gonna be revealing a few things as well. So Let's go ahead and get into this. Before we get into it, let's just explain a few things. The holy place. Now, when you look at this holy place, there's many different aspects of this, of course. Now, when you're looking at these columns can represent different things as well. It represents also the Ten Commandments. You have the heart, which is the altar of incense. This also can represent these Canaanite nations, or the seven deadly sins, or these seven Canaanite nations, which are these desires. And we're going to show that today, when you're going through the second degree, and how you can be able to recognize you're in your second degree. So let's go ahead and get it started. So first thing first, we're going to do, let's going to go to Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, and we're going to go to verse number 1. And it says, when Yahweh, your Elohim, will bring you to the land which you will come to possess it, he will thrust away many nations from before you, the Hittite, the Girgashite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. All right, what are those 7 nations represented? Well, those are the 7 deadly sins, or those 7 desires. You went through the first degree, so you've already put yourself on the altar. You've made it through the trials, the desert, so you've been tested. You're now entering into the holy place, and you're learning. This is why, now if you've done that, this is why Yahweh said he will drive these nations away. Because what are these nations? These are the desires. When you've changed your heart and you've went through the trial, you should know, because some of the stuff that you used to do, those desires are going away from you now. The nigga shit, the nightlife, the dumb shit, just the fast women. When you start to notice those desires are fading away from you, it's because you've applied yourself and you've been faithful, and now Yahweh is destroying those nations or those desires. So he's destroyed these desires, and now you're in the holy place. So now we're going to show a testament that shows you, if you have made it into the holy place, you should know. And we're going to describe what the holy place is. The holy place is the land. All right. This is going to be represented as the land. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump up to Song of Solomon. And this is where we're going to get the other part of our temple teaching from. So I'm going to go to Song of Solomon. So let me get there with you. I'll sit there and I'll label over this one. I'll get all funny with me now. Shalom, shalom. Salak, y'all, to be patient with me. Fingers, man. You would do this to me now. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to start at Song of Solomon, and we're going to go to the 4th chapter, and we're going to start at verse number 3. And it says, like the sacred thread guarantor of Rahab's safety, and its sincerity of your lips, and your word is unfinged, as many as pomegranate seeds and merits of unworthest within your modest veil, as stately as the tower of David is the sight of your Sandrith, built as a model to emulate, with thousands of shields of Torah armor hung upon it, all the discipline field quivers of the mighty. Torah field armor. It's talking about also, it states the veil. And this is a stated tower of David is the site of your Sandrith, built as a model to emulate, with thousands of shields of Torah armor hung upon it. Because remember, once you make it inside of here, you're protected by Yahweh. So we're showing you. So let's get a precept. We'll stay right here in Solomon. Let's show you what that armor comes from. Because remember, you've made it into the holy place and you're here to learn. Also, now that you're in the holy place, you're able to take part of the ceremony that goes on the inside. And so let's continue to get this. So let's precept this on up. And let's go ahead to stay in Solomon chapter 4, and let's go ahead to verse number 11. Verse number 11, and it says, the sweetness of Torah drips from your lips like honey and milk. It lies under your tongue. Your very garments are scented with precepts like the scent of Lebanon. So remember, what is that armor? That armor is the Torah. Like I said, read that again. The sweetness, this is Song of Solomon 4 and 11. The sweetness of Torah drips from your lips like honey and milk. It lies under your tongue. Your very garments are scented with precepts like the scent of Lebanon. So it's showing you, remember, this is the place of learning as well. So when you get in here, you're still on your path of learning. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal, if you're laboring, if you're dedicating your nights and your weekends, you're sincere, just like it said. And you're sincere, verse number 3, like the sacred thread granner of Rahab's safety, it's the sincerity of your lips. So if you're sincere with your work, you already are in the second degree. And we're going to prove that. And what do I mean sincere? I mean, you've given up your nights, your weekends, your nightlife. You find yourself in your Torah more. You're starting to go get the pens, the pads, your notepads filling up, highlighters everywhere. And you're being sincere about this. Why? You're in the second degree now. We're going to prove that. So let's go on up to Song of Solomon. And let's go to chapter number 5. And we're going to go to verse number 15. So that's Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse number 15. The Torah columns are marble, set in context of finest golds. Its contemplation flowers like Lebanon. These columns have been changed now for you to gold, because you are now within the holy place and you are sincere and you're still doing the work. So Yahweh has transformed these columns into gold for you. Let's keep going. We're going to prove, like I said. So let's go to, we'll go to chapter number 6. And we're going to start at verse number 1. And it says, what has your beloved gone, O fairest among women? Women is the wisdom. It says, what has your beloved turned to rejoin you? Let us seek him with you and build the temple with you. So you see that? Build the temple with you. Yahweh's not going to build this temple for you. He will help you build this temple. Read that again. Verse number 6. It says, what has your beloved turned to rejoin you? Let us seek him with you and build his temple with you. All right. So let's keep going. Let's go to verse number 3. Verse number 2, I'm sorry. My beloved has descended to his temple garden, to his incense altar. Still gazes my brethren, remaining in the gardens of exile to gather the rosate. So wait, this is the garden. So what is that telling you? When you're with walking with Yahweh, this is the Garden of Eden. Because what happens in the garden? The garden is a place what? You eat, you get full, you get nourished in the garden. So let's keep going. Let's go to verse number 4. And remember, this is the land that signifies the garden. So let's go to verse number 4. And it says, your beauty, my love, when your deeds are pleasing, as comely now is when you were in Jerusalem, of old host of angels stand in awe of you. Why? Because when you're in the sanctuary, the angels are watching you. I'm going to read that again. Song of Solomon, chapter 6, verse number 4. You are beautiful, my love, when your deeds are pleasing, as comely now as you once were in Jerusalem of old. Host of angels stand in awe of you. So when you're in the temple and you're correct, the angels are watching you. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to verse number 11. It says, I descended upon the deceptively simple holiness of the second temple. See your moisture-laden deeds in the riverbeds, to see whether your Torah scholars have budded up the vine, whether your merit-laden righteousness have flowed like the pomegranates filled with seeds. Do you hear that? That addressed you as being a scholar. Why? Because look at Israel today, and think about Torah nights. You are the scholars of Israel. I'm gonna read that again. This is Song of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 11. I descended upon the deceptively simple holiness of the second temple. Remember, the second temple, not this, it's all one, but this is the second phase of the temple. It says, I descended upon the deceptively simple holiness of the second temple, to see your moisture-laden deeds in the riverbeds, to see whether your Torah scholars had budded on the wine, whether your merit righteous had flowered like the pomegranates full of seeds. So what is that telling you? By this point, you should be learning more. Because why? This is a testimony. The whole point that you're more interested in being in your Torah and sitting down and studying. This is the testimony that you are in your second degree now. Let's keep going by precept. So it's going to go to chapter 7, verse number 13. And it says, let us make at dawn in the vineyards of prayer and study. Let us see if students of writ have budded, if students of oral law have blossomed, if ripened scholars have bloomed. There I will display my finest products to you. What is that? That's when you see us washing up these dudes on debates. That's when you see us washing up these dudes on commentary. Our finest products from study. I'm going to read that verse again. Song of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 13. Let us wake at dawn in vineyards of prayer and study. Let us see if students of writ have budded, if students of oral law have blossomed, if ripened scholars have bloomed. There I will display my finest products. Now remember, the verse just before this was talking about you, your knowledge, basically your understanding of Torah being like a pomegranate. You know how many seeds you see inside of a pomegranate? This is the amount and the rate of your thinking, of your learning should be expanding, because now you are in the second degree and you're applying yourself to learn. Let's go ahead and finish this all up. Stay in the book, Song of Solomon. We're going to go to chapter 5. We're going to go back and we're going to show, we're going to prove what the showbread is. And we're going to show you what the milk and the honey is. Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. To your tabernacle dedication, my sister, O bride, I came as if to my garden. I gathered my myrrh with spice from your princely incense. I accepted your unbridled as well as your bidded offerings to me. I drank your libations pure as milk. Eat, my beloved priest. Drink and become Elohim intoxicated. That is the showbread. When you're in here eating the showbread, what is the showbread? The showbread is the deeper understandings of that Torah. The deeper understandings of the Torah. When do you get that? You got that because you applied yourself. Why? What's even driving you to apply yourself? You're in the second degree. The second degree, the land, flowing with milk and honey. Your commandments, your table of showbread. What is your showbread? Read that last one more time. That's Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse number 1. The second half of number 1. It says, I gathered my myrrh with my spice from your princely incense, from your princely incense. I accepted your unbidden as well as your bidden offers to me. I drank your libations pure as milk. Eat, my beloved priest. Drink and become Elohim intoxicated. So that's what he's telling us. We're a nation of priests. When you're in here, you're getting the knowledge. You're getting the deeper aspects of the knowledge. Why? Because you're eating the showbread. And you're able now to go into these debates. You're able to go against these people. And you're able to wash them up quick because you're progressing through your degrees. Just want to say all praise to Yahweh. Thank anybody who came. Definitely going to be doing a part 3 soon. Just want to appreciate everybody who listened. And I say all praise to Yahweh, Shemaiah, Yashala, Elohim, Yahweh, God, Shalom.